In today's episode we are surprising my dad with a full detail on his beloved BMW 640i. His car is an absolute dump, so I figured it would be a good idea to give the thing an extreme makeover while he is on holiday. I definitely have my work cut out for me, so sit back, relax and grab a cold drink because it is going to be a long one.
All my friends, hello rider.
Hey guys, so in the previous episode I explained that I needed to do some work on my dad's BMW. His water pump has broken, I think last week somewhere, and currently he is on a holiday, so I said to him, okay, I'll quickly fix the car and then you'll be able to drive it once you get back. But there is a twist. My dad is a pretty busy guy, and that means that cleaning and maintaining his car is the least of his priorities, and it shows. The car is an absolute mess. It is pretty filthy both on the inside and the outside. So I figured I might as well surprise him when he gets back with a full detail on his car, a paint correction and a ceramic coating. And who knows, that might motivate him to keep his car a little bit cleaner in the future. I hope the weather is going to cooperate a little bit. It has been raining the entire day, which is not really good for when detailing a car, but it has been dry for the last half hour, so I guess we can get started. First, let's go take a look at what we're working with. So this is my dad's 2011 BMW 640i convertible. Under the bonnet lies an N55 engine, which is a 3-liter straight 6, that supports a twin-scroll turbocharger and which puts out a respectable 320 horsepower. My dad has kept it completely stock apart from its wheels, which are Borbet GTXs, and clearly they can use some attention. And that can actually be said about the entire car. I think since owning it, my dad has vacuumed the interior maybe once and it shows. I cringe every time I need to get into this thing because you are just surrounded by dirt and grime, and then I haven't even mentioned the entire ecosystem that is brewing around the junk in the trunk. If we move to the paintwork, we can see that it got treated very similarly, and that is because the car rarely got a wash, and there is just a bunch of junk embedded in the paint, with the main damage being caused by bird droppings. I think it is evident that we have a lot of work ahead of us to get this thing cleaned up, but I am sure that the end result will be very satisfying and I'm rather looking forward to that. But first we're going to have to look at the mechanical side of things. There are two mechanical issues that we're going to need to deal with. The first of them has something to do with the coolant system. The other day my dad came home and the car was running pretty hot and actually went into limp mode. So I read out the codes and it said that the water pump speed was too low, and after reading a bit online it seemed like these M55s have a lot of problems with water pumps that die, so I just ordered a new one and we are going to install that. And the second issue has something to do with the high pressure fuel system. So every so often my dad would get in his car, do a cold start, and the car wouldn't want to keep its idle, it would drop down or run very poorly, and then he would have to restart the car and then everything is fine. So after reading the codes on that issue, it seems like there is a problem with the high pressure fuel system, and I'm hoping that by changing the high pressure fuel sensor that sits in the fuel rail, we might resolve that issue. But actually I've already looked into both of those issues and here is the footage for that. I have already disconnected the battery, that is why the trunk was open, and now we're going to take off the under tray. Next we're going to take off this plate. So this is where the pump is located, and by the looks of it we're going to have a pretty hard time to get it out. I think the next step maybe is going to be to take off the fan shroud, and then maybe we could be able to lift it up from the top. These braces have to go. Next, I'm going to remove this plastic. I think now we're going to take off this bar. Beautiful. This guy needs to come off as well. What kind of technology is this? Wow. That is the connector for the fans, I think, so let's pop that out. I think if you undo that screw, we should be able to separate the intake hose or whatever that is from the fan, and then yeah, we should be able to pull it up. That is some good engineering. Now we have clear access to the pump, and I think this hole will suffice to pull the thing out. But first we'll have to drain the coolant. Some coolant has come out, but I've read that there is 10 liters in the system, so there definitely will be some coolant left to drop down into my armpit. But yeah, I'm just going to go for it. We're going to start with disconnecting the hoses that go to the water pump, and then we can undo the bolts that hold it in. There it is. I'm going to let this drain like this. So, now the electrical connector. Okay. And now we can undo the bolts. Yes! So the pump is out, and I am pretty stoked about that, and I also think I am going to call it a night because it has been a pretty long day. I had my day job in the morning, and then right after I started with this project, so I think we did well for today. Tomorrow I have some other responsibilities, unfortunately, so we won't be working on the car, but then on Sunday we are going to throw in the new pump, and then hopefully we still have some time to start detailing this thing. Here is the new pump, and it is exactly the same one as that one, so we can go straight into installing it. I just have to do all the steps in reverse order. No leaks. So that is the water pump install done. Wasn't too bad actually, but there still is something that we need to do, and that is to bleed the coolant system. But I'm going to wait with that because I want to do some other things first. But something cool that I just found out is that it is possible to drive the electric water pump that we just installed on its own just by using the computer that is inside of the car. You can make it turn by itself, and then it should be possible to bleed the entire coolant system without having to turn on the engine. But first I'm going to change the high pressure fuel sensor because the car is throwing a code for that, and it also has some startup issues at cold start, so I'm hoping those two are related and that by changing the sensor that issue can be resolved. So let's give it a go. First we'll take off this cover. Next we're going to take off this intake hose because I think it is directly above the sensor, but to do that I think it is best to take off the air filter box. It took some digging, but right over here is the sensor. It's going to be pretty challenging to get a wrench on that, but I'll figure something out. There it is. New one going in. That was actually pretty easy, so yeah, nothing left to do but to see if we can bleed the coolant system, and then the car should be okay to go for a drive. So I read a document that explains how to do it, and if I read that correctly, we need to put the lights into low beam mode. The heat needs to go all the way up, the fan on the lowest mode, and then we have to press the accelerator pedal for 10 seconds. So here goes. That is pretty cool. So yesterday night I did a test drive with the car and all seemed to be well. It was no longer overheating, and I also didn't find any coolant leaks. So I think the water pump has been dealt with. The cold start also was fine, but that was more of an intermittent issue. So we're going to have to look in a few weeks if the car has done it again to be sure that it is completely fixed. But now let's get into detailing this thing. The first thing that I'm going to do to this car is a full decrapification, which means taking all the junk that is in the car and dropping it into a box. And immediately it is starting to rain, which is awesome. So what I think I'm going to do is reverse the car into the shop and then start emptying it here. I don't know what happened here, but it looks disgusting. When cleaning your car is also weight reduction, you know that it has been long overdue, but I think we successfully decrapified this interior, and I think the next step is going to be to give it a good vacuum, because yeah, there is lots of disgustingness still left. To make my life a little easier, we're going to take out the front seats. They are held in with 5 T50 Torx screws and then also the electrical connector. Those are by far the heaviest seats I have ever touched, but at least now we have some good access to clean all of this up. So the entire interior has been vacuumed and now the next step will be to go over it with an interior cleaner. I ordered one, but it hasn't come in yet, so we'll have to wait with that for a second. But it looks like it is going to stay dry outside, so maybe it is a good time to clean the exterior of the car. Obviously I will need to drive the car out and I don't have any seats, but luckily I have a perfect alternative. Of course, it starts to rain again as soon as I pull her out. That is just my luck. So what I am going to do is wait for a few minutes. If it doesn't stop, then I'm just going to pull the car back in. And then we are going to take off the wheels and already start to clean those separately. The big boys. First a bit of water. Next a bit of wheel cleaner. Now let's wait for that to turn purple. Next we're going to agitate it with a wheel brush. I think that is not bad for a before and after, but now let's do the rest because I spot some blue skies ahead, so maybe we can still wash the car today. So I put the wheels back on, they look 10 times better than before. There still is a little bit of work to do, but I'm going to do that later. Now I want to give the entire exterior of the car a bit of a clean, but unfortunately I have to go grab a bite to eat, and I don't know if I'm going to have enough daylight when I come back, but yeah, we'll see. Boom, it is the next day and it looks like the weather is going to cooperate a bit more today, so let's give her a good old scrubbing. I'm going to start with giving it a good rinse with the power washer. Up next we are going to hit it with the foam gun. I have always heard that if you want to polish very contaminated paint, that it is a good idea to clay bar it first to get all of that surface scrap out, and that way it won't end up in your polishing pad. Now that the paint is clean and that the sun is hitting it, you can clearly see how badly swirled up this paint is. So let's try and do something about it. I let the car dry for a good amount of time and then took it back inside of the shop. And then the next step was to protect all the black trim from the polish residue that will be flying around. So I did that. I also covered the wheels in some trash bags just to keep them clean. And then I also took the top off also to just keep it tucked away and protected from the dust and the polish that is going to be flying around. So next we're going to figure out what method we are going to use to bring some shine back into this paint. So I've got two compound products made by Meguiar's and I'm going to test each one out. This is actually the one that I used on the Saab and I was moderately happy with how it performed, but I figured I might as well give this one a shot as well. And then after we determined which one is best, we're going to use that for the rest of the car and then finish off with this ultra finishing polish. I made 3 sections, 2 for the compounds and 1 as a benchmark, so let's see how they perform. That is before and this is after, so yeah, much clearer, but not perfect at all. I think if I would really strive to perfection, I would have to wet sand the entire car, but unfortunately I do not have the time for that right now. So we're just going to go ahead and continue with this method, and I think the difference will be already pretty spectacular. So we are all done with polishing and I'm pretty happy with the result. I wish it was a little bigger in here so I could show the entire car. But yeah, it looks pretty good and we are ready for the ceramic coating now. But I think I'm going to wait with that until last. I still have the windows to clean and also the interior. And I'm going to try out this leather cleaner for the first time. So yeah, let's see if it is any good. And we'll start with the front seats. I have cut off the hairs of an ordinary paintbrush, that way the hairs are a lot stiffer and they give you a lot more cleaning power. The seats are pretty much done and now we're going to give the rest of the interior a similar treatment, starting with the steering wheel. This was a new towel. Okay people, so today is the day that my dad returns from his holiday. I have a little bit more work to do, but the interior is completely done, apart from the floor mats that I still have to put in. But yeah, we'll take a look at all of the results by the end of this video. One of the last things that I need to do before we can put on the ceramic coating is to clean the windows. And I have my own little technique for that. I haven't seen many people cleaning windows like that, so I'll quickly show you. It is very simple. So I have always struggled with properly cleaning a window without any streaks. I always used a microfiber towel and yeah, it didn't work out for me. Maybe I was doing something wrong. But at one point one of my colleagues showed this simple technique and I've been using it ever since to clean glass. So first I use a proper glass cleaner. Then I use this ordinary shop towel and give it a clean. And then the last step is to just go over it again, but with a completely dry towel. So that is my little tip for cleaning glass. Now I'm just going to use that technique to do the entire car. And then I'm also going to put on those new windscreen wipers. Okay, so now the moment we've all been waiting for, the coating. We're going to be applying Xion Can Coat. I hope I am pronouncing that correctly. I picked this one because it looked very easy to apply. I have no experience with these coatings, so I thought this would be a good one to start with. I've also read some good reviews regarding the longevity and the shine that it brings. So yeah, let's give it a go. Okay, so with the spray nozzle on, it tells you to apply it to a microfiber towel, wipe it, and then immediately wipe it away again until there is a glossy after effect. They also advise to spray away from the paint. Okay, that seems pretty straightforward. The shine is pretty good. So now let's do the entire car. Okay boys, so that is a wrap. The car looks absolutely spectacular. I am very happy with this product. It is really very easy to apply and the shine is just incredible. Let's just hope it stays like that for a while. My dad is coming in 2 hours. I actually have to pick him up from the airport. So I'm just going to wait here until I have to go there. But in the meanwhile, I can use that time to clean up the shop. So the big reveal went a little bit different than I was expecting. Due to some circumstances, my dad had to leave again immediately, but I did manage to lure him into the workshop with a little bit of an excuse. And yeah, he saw the car quickly and he was absolutely stoked at how it was looking, and he was particularly happy with all the scratches being gone. So yeah, no big oh my god Hollywood reaction. Actually, I was not really expecting that anyway. We're just not that kind of people. But he was really stoked about the result, and I am as well, and I think that is the most important thing to take away from this. Unfortunately, I also have a little bit of bad news. So a while ago, my dad was driving the car around and it actually went into limp mode again, and this time while accelerating. The car indicated again that it was a problem with the high pressure fuel system. So a few days later, I met up with a friend of mine who has this nice diagnostic computer, and we made a log of both the high pressure and the low pressure fuel system. And after looking at the data, it seems like the high pressure fuel pump is unable to meet the pressure requirements that the car is asking, and that is probably why it is going into limp mode. And I have read a lot of stories of people breaking these pumps, so that is most likely our issue. But if any of you guys have another suggestion, please let me know. It was actually nice to have a break from working on the Saab for a while, but now I am 100% ready to get back working on it. So yeah, if you enjoyed today's episode, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to my channel. And I hope to see all of you in the next episode on the Saab.